Hey, Growing Up with Grief Facebook group. I just wanted to pop in and say hello. And if you are here joining me live, I would love for you to comment hashtag live. And for those of you catching the replay, comment hashtag replay. Just wanted to pop in and share this idea of handle with care. And it came up in one of our Facebook posts earlier last week from one of our teachers, Ashley Walls. And she suggested something she does with her parents and students is that she has a little note that's called Handle with Care. And so she encourages her parents to let her know, just send her a quick email, send her a quick message saying, handle with care. You don't have to send any details of what that means. It just means you are mobilizing your village and that your child needs a little extra care and love, maybe a little extra patience for the day. And to be real honest, when we are talking about our kiddos who have grief, and maybe it's new and recent grief, maybe it's grief that has been here for the last year or two. Sometimes when we're coming up on death anniversaries, birthdays, holidays, especially when we're talking about holidays where we're creating presents or something for our loved ones and our child doesn't have a loved one that they want to make something for or that they don't want to talk about. Or it could just be as simple as we're back at the beginning of the school year. The teacher does a simple activity that says, hey, draw a picture of your family. And now your child is in stress mode because do I include my brother who passed away over the summer? Or do I include my dad who died? These are things that emotionally are going to come up for our kiddos. And so it may be something that happens during the school day, or it may be something that happened before your child even got to school. So maybe you had a rough morning because they wanted to bring a special toy that reminded them of their parent or their sibling who's passed away or a grandparent, and you said no because it is an important special toy and you didn't want anything to happen to it, but it caused a meltdown. If you had this way of communicating with your teacher and could just quick send a 2-second email that said handle with care, you didn't have to go into the whole story, you didn't have to explain why they wanted to bring this stuffed rabbit and you said no, and then that caused the meltdown and now your child's anxious about going to school. You don't have to explain all that because you've already had it set up ahead of time where your teacher knows if you're sending a note that is labeled handle with care, either in the subject line of your email, maybe it's a note in the backpack, however you work that system out with your teacher, they know. They know something has happened and that's all they need to know. If you choose to share more with them, that's great. That is certainly your business to do that, but you don't have to. So I've created just a quick little handout, and I created it from the standpoint of you being the parent sharing it, or the grandparent sharing it with your child's teacher. Of course, like I mentioned, when Ashley shared it, the one in the group, and it is posted in the group, she was sharing it from the teacher perspective, and so it was teacher wording. So the one I've created is one that you can share with the teacher, and so it says, we had a rough day or had a rough start this morning. What we're asking you to do is to offer support, to offer patience, and please don't ask any questions of the child. And this is really important. Now, obviously, if your child goes to school and shares with your teacher, wonderful. but they don't have to, and they shouldn't be required to. So we're just passing on this note of handle with care so that your teacher knows if your child's a little grumpy, they need a little extra patience. Don't get on to them for not following the rules, or don't be as rough or strict with them, because they're just having a day, and they're allowed to have a day. They're allowed to have those moments where things are tough. And this helps signal we know something's going on, and then the teacher knows we don't need to pry. We don't need to figure out. Mom, dad, grandparent is aware of the situation and knows something is going on. And again, if there's more information to share later, that's fine, but we don't want the teacher to step into the role of interrogator, because sometimes teachers want to know what's going on, obviously, because what's happening at home does affect the classroom. But sometimes when teachers step in and start asking questions, well, what happened? Well, what did your mom say? Well, why are you upset? The child internalizes that as, this isn't safe. There's too many questions. And sometimes they don't have the answers, especially when we are talking about grief. Sometimes they can't name exactly why they're upset. They just know they miss their loved one. And that's not necessarily something that they want to stand in front of 20 other kids and talk about. They might be somebody who wants to keep that private, and that should be respected. So again, I'm just offering this quick video so that you can understand what the PDF is about. I will drop the link to the PDF in the comments. If you're not able to access it that way, if you want to comment handout, I will be happy to email you that handout or send it to you directly through Messenger so that you can have a copy of it. I would love for you to make copies, share it with your teachers. Another great place to share this is other people who are in your village. So let's say grandparents, extended family, people that are around you, maybe good family friends. Maybe this is some language that you use with them. And so you share this paper so that you're both on the same page. When I text you and say, handle with care, because the friend's picking up your kid after school, then they know ahead of time. Or when they go and play with the neighbor, then the neighbor knows your language and what this means. Another great way to use this is, I am a big advocate of teaching our kids to advocate for themselves. So this is a good conversation with your child, and maybe they don't want to use the words handle with care, so maybe you come up with a different code word. But even if you used and taught them to use handle with care, if they're having a rough day and go to school, maybe they could say to their teacher, I'm having a rough day, I just need to be handled with care. What a wonderful place that is for your child to advocate for themselves. And even our younger kids are really good at, when we practice, when we role model this, when we talk about it back and forth and have them practice with us, they're going to be more likely to use it with the people in their life. Our older teens, maybe they don't want to say handle with care. Again, you can come up with their language that feels good and have them advocate, even if it's just, I had a rough morning. Letting the teachers know, if my child says to you they've had a rough morning, could you please kind of back off and give them a little bit of space. Again, it's great dialogue to have with those teachers. It helps that open communication. And most of the people in our village, our teachers, our administration included, they want to help. They want to be there for us and support us as parents, but also our kids. And so let's let them. Let's give them the tools so that we're all helping in the same direction. I do want to just mention this is just one of the many things that as we work together, we would talk about and practice. I am getting ready to launch in September my new 6-month program, Empowering Families Through Loss, and invoking our village, making sure we have those supports is absolutely a component of that. And this is just one tiny piece of that, one tiny way that we don't have to help our kids and be the only support. We don't have to do it alone. We can have the support of our community, of our schools, of our neighbors, and they want to help, but sometimes they don't have the language, and this helps give them some language so that they feel good and confident about helping as well. So I hope that this is helpful. Like I mentioned, I will drop the PDF down in the comments. And if you have any questions about this, please feel free to respond to the video. I will come back and check comments. I hope you all are doing well, and for those of you who started the new school year already, whether you're homeschooling or sending to public or private school, I hope you're having a good year, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Take care.